So, this all started technically about a month ago. Well, it's been like 30 something days to me, but sometimes days are skipped. I didn't notice the first couple of times, but then I fell asleep on a Monday and woke up on a Monday. Sorry, I know it's a bit confusing. Believe me, I know. The point is, it wasn't always like this. The last day I had as myself didn't even seem that special. I just got home after my classes, went to the gym, then picked up my nephew from their school. It was the normal routine. My brother and his wife were home late and asked if I could drop my nephew off. That wasn't part of the normal routine, but it wasn't unusual. I picked up some tall boys, Pabsts and Trulies like usual, on my way home from the gas station, said hi to my mom when I got back, then messed around on the computer and Xbox while I drank. I texted some friends after a while, having weird conversations that I'd usually feel embarrassed about in the morning. Well, the embarrassment never really came since I woke up in a stranger's apartment. At first, I was really disoriented. I don't know if it made it better or worse that I wasn't hungover at all. Looking at the open closet next to my bed, I saw suits and ties. This came as a shock, as I was pretty sure that I was straight, and I didn't even think that I drank enough to black out the previous night. Out of embarrassment or confusion, I instinctively rubbed my face with both hands, staring at my eyes. That's when I felt the unfamiliar features and beard. I hope you never have to experience it, but the sensation of rubbing your face when it's not your face is downright bizarre. I think the beard made me realize quicker that something was up, but still. Anyway, I fell out of bed and crawled towards a mirror. A 30-something-year-old bearded man crawled back at me. This made me reel back and crawl up against the wall. After the initial shock subsided, the rest of the day went by with me holed up in the apartment, ignoring his phone calls and watching TV, mostly the cooking and reality channels, waiting for myself to wake up. I started feeling tired. I realized that maybe falling asleep could wake me up, so I burritoed myself in a blanket and fell asleep on the couch. The next day, I was a girl in her dorm. After doing a couple of the things that I always imagined I would do in that scenario, I got out of the shower and started to face reality. I was stuck in whatever nightmare I found myself in. I considered diving out the window, but movies like Groundhog Day make that situation seem a lot easier than it would be. Maybe I just wasn't at the point where possible death seemed like a good escape. The days since the first two have been kind of a blur. I think I've learned some things being in this situation. For one, it's hard to guess phone passwords. The days usually start with me locking whoever I am out of their phone. Also, when dealing with families, usually acting out of it and saying, "I'm just tired," gets me through the morning. Sometimes the husband or wife will get a little mad at me, but the kids don't really notice. Being a kid again can be weird, but it's easier to take naps as them, and yeah, people don't really believe most of what I say, much less that I'm not their kid. Believe me, it's better that I don't try explaining anything. I tried telling the situation to my guy's girlfriend once, and we got in a relationship-ending fight. Apparently, the guy was untrustworthy and uncaring lately, and she saw it as a weird Hail Mary to not talk about it. I even told her my original name, and she just said she was done with me/him and left. I felt bad after that one. I could have just broken up a couple. I know, I probably should try to convince other people better, but to be honest, I just haven't felt a sense of urgency enough to get me to really figure out what's going on here. At least, that was the case until a few days ago. The day after being a middle-class housewife for probably the 7th time, I got some older woman, Carly Anderson, age 68 according to her license, who lived alone with some cats and dogs. More importantly, she didn't have a password on her computer. At first, out of excitement, I checked up on some YouTube channels. After getting some good dopamine levels, I realized I should probably try something more productive, so I looked up some questions on Google. These questions included body swap mental disorder, different person-like syndrome, body swap rules, Freaky Friday synopsis, and things like that. Then I remembered that Facebook existed. I hesitated before looking myself up. What if I didn't exist? What if I had become a weirdo or outspoken pervert or something? Then I reminded myself that I had set my account to private, so I wouldn't be able to see anything but my profile picture. I searched it up and, yeah, just that picture showed up. Then I got a strange feeling when I thought up the idea to Google my name and city. I shook the feeling off, typed it in, and pressed enter. After seeing the first few results in news articles, my heart sunk into my stomach. My name, University of Nebraska student found dead at 22. Student found at dead parents' home. Interview with my name's family. Any updates? And other titles that failed to get past my state of shock filled the screen. It took me about 10 minutes to click on one of them. There were minimal details, just some of my family's names in some interviews. Nate, my brother, Ethan, my nephew, and Jackson, my dad. My mom refused to comment, clearly devastated. I couldn't read much of that one. The consensus was that there were no updates from the police, no known persons of interest, no cause of death disclosed. People speculated an accident, or a suicide, or even a murder, as the police hadn't released details in over a month. College students don't usually die of natural causes, so I guess I can't blame them for speculating. I was tempted to check any of my family's Facebook pages, but I just couldn't. I know, it probably sounds stupid, not doing everything I can to learn more, but I don't want to see how they're doing. I'm not afraid that they didn't care. I'm afraid because I know they did. I don't want to see any of that. I stopped checking on the articles after a while and played some old Flash games on an archive. Those are usually my comfort food when I feel down or stressed. Still, my mind raced. I'm dead? Am I a ghost? Is this like hell or something? I couldn't think of any religions that described the afterlife like this. Maybe reincarnation, but not a daily reincarnation into other living people. I thought I could be in a coma, but it would be a lot more dreamlike, right? I mean, this didn't feel like reality, but it definitely was cohesive, besides the daily switches. I tried playing with the lady's cats and dogs, but I guess she didn't do that much since they seemed confused and too freaked out when I tried. Not wanting to get mauled to death by pets that realized I was an intruder, I gave up. Eventually, my old lady body got tired, and I decided to go to bed. A couple of bodies later, today, I'm a stocky, middle-aged police officer, Daryl Stetson. I found the badge and decided for once to go into work. I knew it could be risky if I was found out, but I thought I could get some answers in some sort of database. On the way to the station, I remembered that databases probably have passwords. Crap. Still, I thought that I could talk my way into some file room. Police stations still have files, right? It turns out I didn't need to do that. A morning meeting was called after I got in, finding the homicide department. The lady next to me asked where my usual morning coffee was, and I smoothly said, "It's on my desk," hoping to later find the coffee machine and my desk. The guy holding the meeting, I'm guessing some sort of higher-up police rank than me, started like how you'd expect him due to crime shows. "This guy's a real slick puppy. Same MO as other cases. We need them behind bars," etc. His words started to drown out as I focused on the pictures. Carly Anderson's body, decomposing and almost unrecognizable, was plastered all over the board. "Whoa, you're not usually shaken up by this stuff, right, Stetson?" Coffee Lady said, staring at my expression. "It's really screwed up when it's elderly, though. Shit, I think that the cats nibbled on her before she was found, too." My eyes darted around the board. Found approximately 4 days after death, 3 fingers missing on each hand. Autopsy found 2 fingers, a tongue, and pieces of flesh in throat and stomach. "Are you all right?" Snapping out of it, I turned to Coffee Lady. Yeah, I just realized I forgot something at home." She smiled. "Haha, yeah, sure. Wait, what are you—" I heard as I quickly left the room, then the building. The officer's phone started to ring as I got into the car. I threw it in the back seat and started to drive. I made it half a block before I puked in the passenger seat. Long story short, I got back home with a newly bought laptop. I looked everywhere I could for advice on my situation and ended up here. I don't know what to do. I don't know if I've only died twice or if it's been more. Has it been every single day? All I know is that I don't want to fall asleep.